All right. I'm gonna start recording, guys. So remember this basic webinar here, I will be actually posting it on YouTube later. So in case you want to watch it as in there, all right? Now, let's see if we're good to go. I think we should start. Yeah, let's start now. All right. So, guys, well, basically, what I wanted to explain again, to go over, is market structure. It's very important to understand, because understanding this, you will get a lot better on order blocks. Believe me, this understanding how to mark the structure up will get better. We'll get a lot better marking the actual structure and on order blocks. Okay. And I always say this, you have to understand that external structure and internal structure, there's always like one structure within this structure, like right here. Let's just for this example, we see that the black line, right? The black line is the external structure, right? On the day, it's the daily, it's a daily candle, daily time frame, right? So what most likely what we're going to see is just straight line up, straight line down, straight line up, straight line down. You may not be seeing that much noise. Now, when you start zooming in, right, when you go in smaller time frames, you're going to see that noise, the actual noise, right? So H4. Now, let's say you go now in a smaller time frame than that. Let's say you go on H1. Let's make it red. So let's say now you go on H1. Right? So you're gonna find now an internal structure within this. Like most likely what you're gonna see is this. And I'll change the color right. But now you're gonna see this. You know, this little thing right here going on, boom, 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 right inside the actual H4. I'll try to do it just until the top right here, because this is gonna take me ages. Right, something like this. Drops. Right, just an example. Now let me change the color to red. So we have three, right? We have three structure. We have the external for bigger time frame. We have the H4 internal, and even more internal. If you keep going to smaller time frames, we're going to see more structures. So what is going to help you guys is that we understand, right, that on the daily, right, we are on the daily, what do we see? The price is creating, this is a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and now it's creating a higher high, right? So technically means that we are what? On the daily, we're bullish, right? Right, everything is clear until this point, right? We're bullish. So understand that you know that the market is not going to be moving all the time in a single straight line. It will have their corrections, right? You have a push, you have a pullback, you have an impulse and a correction, impulse and a correction, right? So you know that after this push, you most likely at some point you're going to have a correction. After this impulse, you're going to have a correction. The market has to correct, right? Until where? Most likely to a potential order block, right? Let's say maybe the order block is right here, right? But you're going to see that with time. But understanding the direction right now on big time frame, okay, we are bullish, right? What people do, what some traders do, is that they wait for everything to be aligned for all the time frames to be aligned. I don't know how to say this word in English. I think it's aligned. Yep. Everything to be aligned. So if I know, for example, I know that at this point I'm bullish. Like let's say from here, I'm gonna mark this line right here. Right until this point, the market created this impulse. I know that after the impulse, most likely is going to have a pullback. And now I also have a break of structure. The price is breaking the structure to the upside and pulling back. So potentially from the market, I'm right here. So I'm going to be looking for a pullback, right? To then go for the buy. I know that I'm on a daily time frame, and from here to here, it can take a lot of days, right? It can take maybe a month, maybe 2 weeks, depending on what's going on, right? Fundamentally speaking, maybe if there are a lot of news, the market can get from here to here very fast, right? Because of the reports, right? A lot of volume. But if there are no news, no big news or anything, the market may actually pull back. It takes a lot, it moves a lot slower, right? To get to a point. So what traders do is they wait for everything to be aligned in one single direction, okay? So for example, let's say right here, you know that the price is going up, but you want to look for, you're trying to look for that correction now, because you know that eventually the price will have the pullback. How do you know the market is reversing? Whenever you spot a boss and a change of character, okay? This is where things start to show up. So boss and a change of character. We're going to be looking for that. The areas where we're going to be looking for that, it's always here. We're going to be looking for a boss and a change of character here, 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 okay? And it's even better if you're able to spot this in all time frames. At least in 2 lower time frames. Let's say, for example, the daily, okay, we're right here. What we're going to see is maybe on the daily is the market will start rejecting to the downside. So you're going to scale in, you're going to go in smaller time frames, okay? H4, H1, you can even go smaller than that. You can go 15-minute time frame, right? And in order to refine and to find a much better risk to reward, right? But just going from the daily to the H4 and H1 is actually fine. Okay. If you want to keep refining, you can go in smaller time frames and keep refining, right? But understand that everything has to be aligned. Okay. So that means for example, if I know that on H4, the market had created, it's just that you may not see it here because now it's has all these lines, but let me move it a little bit. This red lines here to the downside. All right. So you spotted this boss right here, right? The last boss happened right here. Now you're seeing the change of character on H4. Oh, okay. So now you know that potentially the market could be reversing. Is the moment where the market is reversing, okay? Potentially. All right. So now you have the change of character on H4, right? You can actually start looking on smaller time frames, and this is where you can actually spot buys in here, because even though you spotted the H4, you know that maybe right here you saw that there's an aggressive sell, right? And you have already marked up your H4 order block. This is when you can improvise. You can say, you know, the way I trade is I don't like going against the trend. If I'm actually looking for the sell, I'm going to definitely look for the market to just hit this OB, and I will look for the sell. Some traders, they will actually take this order block right here and the change of character, and the price is just right here. You know that if there is a change of character, what you're looking for is the price to now pull back to mitigate, right? To take some liquidity out, to build up liquidity in this case, mitigate an order block before actually dropping, right? So some traders, they will take that as a signal, and they will actually be looking for buys in this area. So if you're in smaller time frames, maybe right here, If you go, I'm sure that if you go on a 1 hour right here, you're gonna see a boss, a small, you see? I hope it makes sense. But right here in this area, you're gonna find most likely a boss and a change of character as well. Else in a small time frame. And you know, right, that the price can go up a little bit. I'm not looking for a long-term buy. This is a short-term buy. I'm not looking to hold it all the way to the sky because it's an order block. No, I am looking for a short-term buy because I know the market is just gonna go up maybe for a little bit more before it drops. So I'm looking, in this case, right here, I'm gonna be looking for long-term sales and short-term buys. Okay, because technically the market is shifting right here, right? The best scenario would be in here. If you know that the market is for example, if you know the market is reaching an order block right here, I don't know, in this push, the daily, you have your daily order block right here, right? So now you know that the market is touching and has touched the 50%. Good. It's a sign for me to get in, but I'm not going to be getting in yet because I wanna get a better risk to reward. It's, you know, if you enter there, normally the target would be here, right? And your stop would be here, right? But what you really want is to wait for everything to be aligned, right? You want everything, all structures to be aligned, all timeframes to be aligned. Aligned means that if daily is telling you to buy, I also have to be seeing that the H4 is also telling me to buy and H1 is also telling me to buy. At that moment, everything is aligned. Everything is aligned. So I have everything in my favor. So I can actually long-term hold, right? If I'm looking for a long-term hold right there, it makes a lot more sense to actually hold it, right? So all timeframes, at least these 3 timeframes needs to be aligned. Okay. How do we know that? Well, in this case, and on the daily, it may actually be a little late, but it's fine. You know, the market on the daily already mitigated the 50%. Good. Now let's zoom into the H4 and see what's going on, what's happening right here. Okay. I see that my last pause was right here, but market is right here, right in this area. I'm not going to be buying just yet. You just have to wait, right? You have to wait for the market to do its thing. If the market really wants to go up, you should be seeing some strong reaction somewhere here, maybe a strong buy. If you're not seeing that strong pressure to the upside, then it means nothing. The market may actually just continue dropping. Okay, so you are looking for that strong reaction, and boom, it happens. You have a strong reaction right there, and now you have your change of character. So that means that on H4, it's already it shifted already. It's shifting, right? You have now the alignment. The H4, it's aligned now with the daily, right? Now we have to look for the H1. Okay, we have to look down. You have daily in H4. So far, it's aligned. It's actually looking to go up because now you have that change of character. Okay, and of course, if you spotted now your second OB somewhere, let's say there, you want to go with that, right? Now, again, what you need to do in this case, once the price is getting into this zone again, and you are in H4, you go in smaller time frame. You go this time on a 1 minute, and I'm sorry, on the 1 hour, right? And you're gonna try to look for that boss and change of character and perhaps another order block. Okay, at that moment, the 3 of them, they will all be aligned. You want to be looking for a boss, change of character, and another small order block that most likely will be formed somewhere in this area, right? So now you place at that point, because you are in the smaller time frames now. Yes, I mentioned you can go and keep making it a lot smaller, 15 minute, 5 minute, try to refine the entry even more. But at least, just what I'm saying, at least from here, daily H4, H1 is fine. So your target now, you know that because everything is aligned, the daily H4, H1, it's aligned, you should be feeling very confident in holding this thing now for longer. So this should be like a swing trade, basically, right here. Okay. Now, this can also apply not necessarily from the daily to H4, H1. You can go with perhaps, because there's so many structures. I mentioned if I keep zooming into these areas, like you will find in this structure, there's more structures right here. You see, let's go from here. So you got internal structure. Maybe this is a 1 hour or 15-minute time frame, right? So you have a boss, change of character, order block, prices starts dropping for a little short term. Then you have another boss, and then change of character, and then order block. Okay, then you go long, right? And then after that, market starts showing you another boss and a change of character, and it starts going for a short period of time. Boom. So you see, if you're looking for scalps, you will always have opportunities. Okay, you will always have opportunities. If you know the market is going to pull back, if the market is bullish, I know that the price had created this impulse, but at some point it has to pull back. So use that obvious thing, right? The market will pull back at some point. My sign or the confluence that I'm going to use is just spot the boss and the change of character. And that's telling me that, okay, I know I'm bullish on a long term, but I can go for a short term. I can go and look for a sell. In this case, if this was an order block right here, why not? I can actually go for my sell right there, and I can go for a short sell like that, right? Because at the end of the day, I already draw this, right? It's already drawn, but the market can maybe just up in this pullback right here when it's dropping, pulling back. The market can actually react maybe to an order block that is somewhere here, or a POI, right? There's a POI zone here. Market may react and actually skyrocket from there, right? It may not even reach this order block at the bottom. It may happen, or it may not do it right away. It may not do it right away. It may actually do, let me see if I can. It may actually do something like it can stop right here, maybe mitigating, maybe, I don't know, maybe an order block or a POI zone that is right here. Then the market will do this, right? It will break right there, but then it will actually come back, touch, and that's when it's going to skyrocket. So what do you think it did? It built up liquidity. So below this lows, now there's a liquidity formation. The market took or induced these lows right there, mitigating, and now the actual flow continues to the upside. Okay, it did end up mitigating. So that's why when you know you are bullish, right? I know I'm bullish on the daily, right? I'm just looking for a short sale, right? Your short sale can be at the 50%, at the entire OB. That's up to you. And you take profit at least to that low, because you know you're going short. You're selling for a short period of time, right? So you can refine your interest. To make it even better, you know that this is an H4, right? So you know that by the time the market is mitigating, is touching that OB, you can go on H1, right? Even a smaller time frame. And what you're going to be looking here for another right here in this area, you should be looking maybe on H1, or even go in a smaller 15-minute time frame. You're going to be looking for your boss, change of character, another order block, and now your entry is a lot better. It's going to be looking a lot better, because just from here, your stop is going to be looking like that, and now your take profit is right here. This is a 1 to 17 risk to reward now, right? Instead of entering right there and placing your stop right here, which it was looking like a 1 to 3 risk to reward. So you see, you're refining. But as long as everything is aligned, right? You want to see that, okay, it's most likely is pulling back right now at this point. So far, H4 is telling me that it's aligned. H1, I'm going to be looking for another boss and change of character right here. And you can even go in smaller time frames, 5 minutes, and most likely you're going to see another another formation. You're going to be looking for this. So you got a boss, aggressive movement to the upside, pull back to an auto block, you then go buy, right? So this is what you're going to be looking. This was the last boss. This is your change of character. Right? Then you have a potential order block somewhere here. So this is what you're going to be looking in every time frame. When the price goes here, when the price is touching or mitigating this OB, you're going to pay attention in smaller time frame. You pay attention in the smaller time frame, most likely you're going to be seeing the same thing. Hold on for a second. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, my daughter just got into the room and she was gonna start screaming. So, all right, you're gonna find just the same scenario, this same thing, right? You're gonna find it in a smaller time. You're gonna find it here in smaller time. Basically, you're gonna find the same thing here. Every time if the market really wants to change the direction, you're gonna see a boss, change of character, and maybe another order block in a smaller time frame, and then boom. Right? You enter. This will apply to like every direction. If it's now, if the direction is to the downside right here, right? And you want to look for the buy, right? Same thing, it will happen. And how can I reverse this thing? Doesn't show. Invert. Oh, okay. That's all right. That's the sell scenario. All right. So you got a boss, change of character. The price touches the order block. Now you go in smaller time frames, you look for that and you enter. Okay. But that is basically it, guys. So you have to look. The idea is that you have to look for everything to be aligned. Okay, especially daily H4, H1. Not all the time, because you know, on the daily, you could be, if you jump in on the, let's say, whatever pair you're doing, if you jump into gold right now, and you might find that the market is actually right here. The market is just in this area, it's pushing up. So what am I going to do here? If the price is pushing up, and at least from here, I'm seeing that the price is bullish, then I'm going to just try to keep looking for buys. Every time the price is pulling back, I'm going to try to look for a boss, change of character, order block, and enter in smaller time frames, right? I know that maybe on the daily, we're still bullish. So we still have to wait for the market to even get here. Maybe, yes, I see that on the daily, it created this OB, but we're just right here, right? So I'm technically, the market is just still, it may still continue pushing up. So I'm just going to fold, right? Not every time you're going to be able to catch the daily, right? It takes a long time, like to swing like that, not every time, right? So any questions, guys, so far, right here? Any doubts, concerns? Is it clear? Don't be shy. All good. I'm going to take that as all good. Okay, I would say that's all good. All right. Hold on. Let me put it here. Somewhere there. Okay. All right. So that's basically it, guys. That's how you can identify and you can pay attention to these three, at least these three time frames, okay, to understand external structure, internal structure, right? And you can find entries whenever at least 3 time frames are aligned. Okay, like if you want to swing, if you want to actually go swinging, not necessarily you can go, let's say you want to directly go from H4 to 1 hour to then 15 minutes. Okay, you can actually find a structure on H4, then you go to 1 hour, then go to 15 minutes, right? You can try, you can test that out. All right, let's see if we can spot some structures. Just getting prepared for this week. It's strongly bearish right now. US 30, we see that this huge reaction, if you remember when we had it. So we had this big inducement right here at the top. Right there. And now market is starting to break its structures to the downside. So it's been falling for 3 days consecutive. It's getting into a zone that, hey, might make you think like right here, it's actually reacting now to this order block. So we know that, of course, after what we have happened with like all the news that we have had, you see how bullish the market was and actually breaking a previous high. So this is looking like a change of character, but is it actually really going to change the direction? Because if we mark this up, okay, based on a structure right here, let's say we go from the top, right? We have it. An impulse, correction, impulse, correction. Right here, this entire thing was an impulse right here. We can say right here, that's the correction. Impulse. And now this right here, right, is the one push, pull back, push, pull back, push, pull back, another push right here. And now we have that break right here. Last boss was right here, change of character in this area. So technically, looks like US 30 is changing, it wants to go up so badly, it's changing the direction. But do you think it's really going to happen? This is what, because things are so messed up right now when it comes to news, fundamentals, the United States, all these things going on, right? That is crazy to think that the markets are actually going to continue pushing up at this point. It doesn't make sense because inflation is still there, and most likely the interest rates are going to be going higher on January and February next year. Okay, the Feds said it. This Jerome Powell actually said it, that they may actually have to go higher on the interest rates next year. So if that happens, market will crash again. But I know it's kind of looking like it's very far away, right, from the bottom again. But it's just that it doesn't make sense for the price to go by. So this, what it looks like a change of character, it may be just a fake out or just an inducement. And it happened, why? It happened because of the news or the reports or the algorithm, the market makers that are making this thing just go up, right? Just keep inducing people, making people think that, yeah, things are over, right? So inducing people to buy, right? When it actually at some point, once the reports, the news starts coming out, the thing's gonna crash. So I know that, for example, I'm not a fundamental trader. I don't like news. I hate news. I don't like at all news. I trade what I see. And this is telling me that it could potentially go up. But now that, unfortunately, because of all this year, what has happened all this year in my experience now is telling me that, hey, Eduardo, you unfortunately, you have to learn some sort of news. You have to implement some things. You have to be watching more news because the markets are so uh at this point are so relying on fundamentals, on news. Unfortunately, every little news related to something, I don't know, FTX, this guy from FTX, now going to jail, when the big scam happened, all these things can bring things down, can really hurt and affect the markets. So with that being said, we are in a zone that technically we could, we could go for buys. We could actually start looking for buys in this area. If we go on a smaller time frame on H4, what we want to look is, okay, we want to see now a boss change of character, right? We want to see a boss, a change of character, something like that. The market mitigating another order block to then go buy, right? So let's say, just an idea here. So let's say this is our boss, change of character, what happened here, right? So change of character, market will create some sort of order block right here, right? We can go buy in this area, right? Now, what do we need to go do before we do that? Again, for everything to be aligned, go on a 1 hour or 15-minute, go smaller time frames, right? At least 1 hour. And right here, once the market starts getting into this zone, right? You want to look for a boss, change of character, order block, boom. So now you can refine even better. So you want to look for that order block right there. So that means your position could be here, right? You want to take it there, you stop here, and you take profit because you know that now you have everything aligned from the daily H4 and H1. Now, okay, you can very confident, you can actually hold it all the way to the top. Why not? You have everything aligned. Still, don't get me wrong right here. Doesn't mean that because you have everything aligned, it means the market will go 100% on to your direction all the time. No, that's not going to happen. Okay, right? We use all the confluences we have and we go for it with what we see. We take the chances and we live with the results. Okay, it doesn't mean there's nothing guaranteed 100% that the market will go the direction we're looking for. Okay, especially in these conditions of the markets right now. Okay, so something like that could happen. All right, another thing is telling me that things may actually continue bearish, continue dropping this next week. And I don't know, I just have to I just have to wait and see because I'm not a wizard, right? This thing because of this potential change of direction right here, this is what's making me think that if it wasn't because of reports, if it wasn't because of news, I would definitely be looking to hold buys for longer at this point and definitely be thinking, yeah, I mean, this definitely looks like the bottom. Now market, it looks so aggressively buying. That's how US 30 looks. Nasdaq looks very different. If you jump on Nasdaq is still very at the bottom. S&P also rejecting right there. Of course, it's a long way from this low, but this huge inducement right here is telling me a lot. This huge inducement is telling me that market could potentially continue actually drop. As you saw the same inducement right here, right? This was actually an inducement on the daily. So after the inducement, price pushed up very strong. After this huge inducement, market can drop. So let's go to the Nasdaq again and see So when it comes to Nasdaq, the direction you see, the moves are a lot bigger. And like you can even go from here. You can go like this is a push, correction, impulse, correction, impulse. So what do you think this is? It means that it's very far away from a change of character happening, right? Because this is the last lower high, okay, on the daily time frame. So the market would have to go all the way up to do the change of character, right? Then maybe touching an order block somewhere here, I don't know, right? And then go by. So Nasdaq is very far from doing that at this point, very far. So I think this is a failure right here. What the market is doing, the market is failing to go up, that inducement right there. It's a big failure. And that's telling me that it's getting closer. It's much closer to the bottom. So I just want to see that. To be honest, I want to see the market crash again. Markets are not ready to push up again. Maybe next year, by the end of next year. And even if so, I don't know if that's going to happen. But yeah, I don't see that happening. Like anytime soon. I don't know. This is gonna take a couple more months, or even a couple more years to recover. This is one of the lowest points so far. If you go on Microsoft and Apple, I like to watch them from time to time just to understand everything. Like look at Microsoft, for example. Microsoft is one of the biggest companies ever, like since it started. You see how to push, then it actually, just look at this, look at this. I'm gonna zoom in from here. Yeah, what year was this? 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000. So by 2000, right there, let me use this line. So by 2000, is it 2000? 99, almost 2000. 99. The stocks were at 59, right? $59. Then after that, of course, had a big drop right there, big, huge crash. That was like, when did it? So 2000, so 99, 2000 for about a year, right? It was a big drop. 420 days crashing, right? And it dropped a 66%, right? In 420 days. This was a huge drop. I would say one of the biggest ever. You know, see if there are other minor drops like that. I think that's the biggest. It's one of the biggest. 53%. That was big. Now, this was one of the most noticeable crashes. Now, what happened? Let me mark this line up. This was the bottom, right? And this was the top. Bottom, top. What happened after that? Market went into a range and then actually broke even lower in 2009. There was another crash right here in 2009. Big crash. So I was the bottom now, then at that point. The market like almost immediately corrected. It didn't take too long. It took a couple of months to correct and started pushing up, right? And how long it took for the market to recover that? It might look, it doesn't look that far away. But when you do the math, this is 99, right? 99. Market broke above in 2016. How many years, right? It took for Microsoft to recover. Some, of course, professional and old people like Warren Buffett, for example, you know, they're very old. And when it comes to this business, right, trading, and especially stocks, they say that we are like, look at how how this thing is skyrocket and now market just barely correcting in there. So they're saying that this is just the beginning of another correction, another crash. Every now and then, from time to time, the planet will go into crisis, right? And it can take just from, let's say, 15 years. You know, it can take 15 years to correct. It took literally 15 years to correct. And then, of course, started skyrocketing after that. Very big skyrocket. So price was very expensive. Now this is the top so far. So far, this is the top. Let's see how long it's going to take for Microsoft again to break that top right there. Things are starting to drop this year. This crash started November 21. Yeah, November 21. And December started dropping. Then, of course, January, boom, and that's when things started to get worse. But it was already dropping. Many people are saying that it was actually Russia the one causing this whole thing. But no, things were actually going to go down. They were already low by the time Russia issues started, right, in Ukraine. Of course, that added more fire to this thing. But they were saying that even without Russia actually going on war, things would have still gone bad. So this is still, markets are not ready to correct just yet. That's what I'm trying to say. And we're here to make money. We're still going to be able to make money even if the market crashes. We're going to be here and we're going to be able to make money even if the market continues crashing. Like right here. Now let's go with this structure. Let's clean this. So if we know on the daily, the market is bearish, right? Let me mark it up again this way. So go from here. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Now, since I know the market created a lower low, I'm expecting some type of correction. So market will most likely be showing some change of direction. Like it may show a change of direction here, may show a change of direction here. Every time the market creates a pivot point, they will most likely be showing a boss and a change of direction. Sometimes more clear than others, right? It is not going to be easy all the time. No, it's going to be challenging. The market is, they're not going to make it easy for us. And so you could be looking for a short-term buy, right? To then go for a long-term sell because market is bearish, strongly bearish on the daily. So you could be looking for strong sales. Like for example, this order block right here, I was actually looking for this potential OB or even this one at the top, right? They are actually looking quite nice. There's a lot of imbalance here. So this, watching that POI right there, and this one, these zones right there, right? But price is failing before. It's failing because of what? Reports, news that are coming out, the CPI, the interest rates. When Jerome Powell now was speaking, it caused that volatility, and the market is failing to create new highs, and now it's breaking to the downside. Okay, so this may cause that the market may not even mitigate this zone, maybe just yet. It's not going to mitigate it just yet. I mean, the market may just continue dropping and maybe mitigate it later to then drop again. So let's see if we start from here at least, or from here, from this leg. If we are on the daily, and let's go to H4. And let's see, just to finish here, because I am getting the notification on my phone that I need to go, but I don't want to go before I finish this. Hold on. All right, I'm just gonna mark this up. For some reason, I removed it. All right, so let's see how or H. I can kind of see already. This is like a change of character here. Boss market pushing up, but looks like it did not mitigate. Well, let's see how that looks on H4. Or we can kind of see or try to catch something else. So far, let's mark up this structure right quick here. Right, so from here, we have a push. We have a pullback. This little push right here was not like a confirm. I'm looking at for a confirmed higher high. Because so far, this is what's happening. We have an inducement. The market right here tried to break above. Right here, the market took this inducement, even this inducement right here. This is an inducement. Then this is my confirmed boss. After that, what do we have? We have a minor, after this push, we have a minor pullback, and a push, minor correction, another push, a minor correction. None of them are actually breaking lows. Like if you see, market is doing this, pulling back, right? Doing this, pulling back, doing this, pulling back. Try to break here, and now it's breaking. So you see, no inducement here, no inducement here yet, no inducement there. The actual break happened right here. So this means that where is my confirmed? Let me mark it up. Right here, this is not a boss. This is inducement. Right here, of course, not a boss. It's an inducement. Then it starts breaking. Where's my confirmed lower low? My confirmed lower low so far would be this one, because that's the one that caused the boss after the inducement. So all this structure right here, it's just noise, and it's just inducement to the upside. There is no break of a structure or confirmed lower low. So my confirmed higher low, I'm sorry, is this one. All right. So that technically means that right here would be my change of character. There's no change of character right here. On H4, the change of character is actually happening here. Okay. What happened after the change of character? I don't know. It's like there was a little gap right here. The market, I think, was trying to cover that gap. Maybe that's where it rejected. I think that's what it was. Because there was this order block or POI right there, but mostly the actual gap right there. The market tried to go up to take that. To be honest, I don't trade that. I would have not traded this one. To be honest, I would have not traded this one, but it did mitigate and induce, at least right here, that high. So that means that right here, now we have a boss. So price is now bearish. You see now from H4, definitely the direction. This was my last boss to the upside. Higher high, higher low. Of course, after this break confirms this is my highest point. This is my lowest point so far. And lower high confirmed after the break of the structure. So if we go even like this, let's see, let's go from here. Let's see if this is actually a boss. When the price is pushing up a little bit, it's pushing up, little correction, pushing up, correction, and it starts dropping, it's inducing to the downside. Let's say this one right here. So that's my inducement. right? After inducement, the price break to the upside. Yeah, okay. Here, you can do it like that. You can do it like that. It's a boss anyway. The break of a structure did happen, like with this one. You could say that that's definitely the break of a structure because it did induce to the downside first. So that means this is my lowest confirmed and this is my highest. So market is kind of like going so far from here. Higher low, higher high, higher low. Higher high, lower low, lower high, so on. Most likely will continue to the downside down. But we have the change of character, we have the boss. So after that, of course, we have to spot the order blocks and see if they are going to play out. The order blocks, not all the times the one that you're showing, they're going to be mitigated. You're seeing a nice order block right here with all this imbalance. What happened there? Why the market never came and mitigate that OB? Not all the time it's going to happen. So you're seeing the market is actually dropping and crashing very strong, and some of these order blocks, they are not being mitigated. Like this one right here, also another big one, never got mitigated. Somewhere here, but started actually touching it when the market was already reversing now. It's now going for the buys. So you see, the market conditions not always are going to give you the actual setups or the best setups, or just because you're having an order blocks, it means that the market will go there and mitigate. It may actually miss it. It may actually not mitigate an actual OB, may never touch it, may never even reach it. They may ignore it. Market may actually do something else later, like in smaller time frames right here. Maybe you're seeing this boss, break of a structure right here, break right here. In this break of a structure, the market did create this order block. You could have gone with the entire OB or the 50%, and the target would have been this low. You know you're bearish, so you should be looking for those sales. And you should be feeling more confident, of course, on the sales. So the target would be there. If you want to go that way, if you want to take, of course, I'm on H4. You see what I mean? So I'm on H4. You can still go 1 hour, 15 minutes, and spot right here your boss, change of character, a second order block, and take the entries and just make this thing a lot better. Right? Now it's a 1 to 30 risk to reward. So you see, you can always try to look, zoom in and look for better order blocks. For everything to be aligned, if you know you're on H4, you're bearish, you're touching a bearish order block. Now go in 1 hour, look for the boss and change of character. Now the 15-minute, another boss and change of character as well, with your second or third order block right there, and take it, right? If you have 3 in your direction, 3, everything aligned in one direction, go for it. You can actually take the risk. Okay. Sorry guys, any questions, any doubts? Because I have to take off right now. I have to go. But I just wanted to ask you if you have some doubts, questions before I go. Remember, you can ask me anything later or after watching the actual video for on YouTube. All right. It's all good. You can also write on the chat if you want. If it's all clear, I'm gonna disconnect now. All right, guess everything is fine. I will go ahead and pause the recording, and I'll send it to the channel later. All right, guys. Again, if you have questions, please let me know. All right. You take care, guys. Take it easy. Cheers.